Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of this connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we are looking at your version of the truth, their perspective, their version of the truth, and this higher level perspective in the middle, really looking at what is the purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I do have a different tarot deck for each side of this connection that we'll be using, as well as this advice deck that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. The last and most important thing is to please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you are a cross watcher, then vice versa, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is for you to take what does help your personal situation and leave what doesn't. Double checking that this is on. All right, Sagittarius, on your side of this connection, you have triggers with the Nine of Cups. This connection is a bit of a wish fulfillment for you. But I feel like there have been, especially recently in this connection, you've been experiencing quite a bit of triggering around maybe this person's actions or inactions or words or behavior, whatever the case is. And those triggers, I feel, we'll see, because it's usually the case, are trying to give insight into something that needs to be addressed in order for the connection to move forward in a healthy manner, if that's what is supposed to happen. If that's what's best, for both parties. Now, this person, they have underlying motives with the Emperor in reverse. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like this person's intentions in this aren't the purest. The Emperor in reverse is kind of this energy of being controlling, or the need for control. And there might be more going on with this person than you really realize. And I feel like that's what is triggering, is it's like this person's controlling behavior. Now, not necessarily saying that they're controlling over you, they very well could be, but more so like the need to maintain control, whether that is lack of vulnerability or pushing you away, or there is manipulation involved or something of that nature. I feel like there's more to like this person's behavior than you might realize. Now, in between this connection, you have karmic with the Nine of Wands in reverse. So there's definitely a karmic cycle involved here. And then with the full moon kind of being, like, to me, coming to the end of a cycle, closing out a cycle, like things coming full circle. So it's interesting because I do feel like with the Nine of Wands in reverse, it's a cycle that needs to close but is having trouble closing. And it's almost like the triggers that you're experiencing are trying to lead you to close the cycle so that things can move forward in a better way for you. But with the Nine of Cups, it kind of feels like because you desire things to be a certain way in this connection, it's been hard for you to work through those triggers. Like maybe this connection triggers you more than connections have in the past, or in ways that you haven't really experienced before. But let's see. Sagittarius' side of this connection, clarifying triggers with the Nine of Cups. This is for Sagittarius' side of this connection. More Sagittarius' side of this connection. This is for Sagittarius' side of the connection. Sagittarius's side of this connection. I mean, there's the World right out of the gate. So there is some sort of a cycle that is repeating in this connection, a pattern of some sort. Yeah, all this is in reverse. World in reverse, and then there's the Five of Swords, the Lovers in reverse. Okay, and the Seven of Wands. There's a cycle that's repeating here, and it's almost this cycle of like you not getting what it is that you deserve. I mean, at the end of the day, with the Lovers in reverse, like not receiving what it is that aligns with your value and your worth. Even though I feel like you thought this would by now. Now, with the Five of Swords, that's kind of this energy of feeling as if the universe doesn't have your back, feeling as if you're kind of alone in this. Like if, it could be if this connection doesn't work out, then I'm going to be alone. And to be honest, I feel like I need to shoot it straight here, because the Five of Swords to me can be the tendency to have a bit of a victim mentality. Now, I'm not saying that you aren't a victim, and I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong. But sometimes we have to take a look at patterns, because, if we're in a connection with someone and they treat us poorly and we continue to invest in it and then they continue to treat us poorly, we have to take a look at the bigger picture, because when people show us who they are and we look at that as an opportunity to try to like change them or get them to see our worth or treat us better, we're going to end up hurt. And that hurt, it happens over and over. And it's this cycle that repeats. It's like you feel like things are going to change, and then, they don't really change. And then you get upset about that, but then you fall back into the pattern of wanting things to change. And I'm not saying it is your fault that you're stuck in this cycle, but there is this need to bring it to your awareness that that's what's happening. I call it like the hope cycle, the hope disappointment cycle. You hope things are going to change. Someone hurts you, you tell them you don't appreciate that behavior. They say they're going to change. Then you find yourself in a couple of weeks or months dealing with that same behavior. That person does the same thing again or treats you the same way, or the pattern is the same. And so there is a big pattern in this connection that is needing to be brought to the surface, especially through the way that you are triggered, through the way that you are experiencing these triggers. Man, that was a tough first message. I hope some of you are still with me after that one. All right, Sagittarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Sagittarius, okay. Oh my goodness. All of these. Keep picking up this deck going away. Hangman in reverse, Six of Wands in reverse, and Strength in reverse. And then there is the Emperor in reverse. So this person's behavior, it makes you feel not good enough. It makes you feel small. It takes away your power. And there's a part of you that keeps holding on to the potential of things changing. Now, seeing the potential in a person or in a relationship is not a bad thing. But when we ignore the way that we feel for the hope of the potential, like of what things could be, or like if this person changed, or if they decided, to treat you better, or whatever the case is, when we invest in it for that potential, it can end up making us feel worse. Because with the King of Swords in reverse, Sagittarius, I don't feel like you're treated all that well in this connection. Now, I feel like with it being the King of Swords, I feel like that's through words. Like and it could also be like mind games, like telling you what you want to hear or keeping you, and it goes back to what I said, like that cycle, like telling you they're going to change, telling you that, what it is that kind of keeps you holding on. And then over time, it just makes you feel like it starts to affect your sense of self-worth. And it has. Gosh, just getting deep right out of the gate. Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Sagittarius' side of this connection, please. Sagittarius' side of this connection, please. I mean, there's the King of Cups in reverse. I mean, that's like emotional manipulation. Like, we got mental manipulation. We've got kind of this emotional, like playing with your mind, playing with your emotions. Like, this is intense. And with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, it kind of feels like maybe you know this, Sagittarius. There might be a part of you that knows this, that is very aware of this person's treatment, of this person's behavior. But yet, you still prioritize them. You still prioritize the connection. And no judgment, ever, in any of my readings. I've been there. But I feel like there's what's like, especially with these triggers trying to bring to light something deeper, there's more that needs to be uncovered here. Because with the Death card, I mean, this is like this is like a cycle that really needs to end. Because this kind of treatment, I mean, seeing the King of Cups in reverse and the King of Swords in reverse in like back-to-back messages it's intense. Like that's an intense kind of energy. And there's a need to kind of take a look at the deeper, like the I don't know, like the deeper picture, the deeper reason here as to what's going on. And then there's the Seven of Swords. See, to me, I don't feel like this person is being honest with you, or they're hiding certain things from you in some way. Sagittarius' side of this connection. There's definitely a lack of honesty. This is Sagittarius' side of this connection. I feel like you've shown up in this connection as this Empress here. Yeah, because here's the Nine of Wands in reverse, which is the same as what we have here in the middle. So you've showed up as this Empress in this connection, willing to support this person, willing to be there for them, like take care of them, potentially even provide for them if that resonates for you. Like you've shown up as this very caring, kind, loving energy. And I don't feel like they've shown up for you at all. It's like you've given so much of yourself to this. Because with the Four of Swords in reverse, like you're pretty burnt out with how things are. Like your soul is tired and drained from this lack of reciprocation. And then this is talking about healing. I don't know if you're, because this King of Wands, it feels like this person. You could be dealing with a fire sign, or this is just like the reflection of their energy in you. that's exactly what it is. Because I feel like what this person, like I feel like you know who they are. You know what they struggle with. You know where their flaws are and so on and so forth. And so you're willing to show up as this empress. I'm here to help you. I'm here to take care of you. I'm here to love you. And it's almost as if you've prioritized this person's healing over your worth and value, meaning you've been willing to accept certain treatment from this person for the sake of them and their healing journey. And it's drained you. It has drained you mentally and physically. That's where that's why you have this Two of Pentacles in reverse. You know, prioritizing the connection, prioritizing this person. It's taking away your power. It's making you not feel good enough. Because one of the biggest things we have to realize is we cannot heal other people. We cannot fix anyone. And oftentimes when we're trying to heal other people, we're actually trying to heal ourselves through them, because a part of us thinks that if they heal and eventually are able to show up for us and love us and see our worth and, you know, whatever the case is, that'll help us heal, but that'll make us heal. But that's never how it works. Because again, you can't heal anybody else and no one else can heal you. And it almost feels like it's like you've been so willing. And that's why I feel like they're showing up as the King of Wands. Because if they're not a fire sign, it's like you're trying to heal yourself through them in some sort of way. You have this unconditional love for them and empathy and all of these other things, which is fantastic. But you have to remember that you deserve that same kind of love for yourself. And unconditionally loving somebody else does not equal unconditional tolerance. It does not mean that you have to put up with the way that they treat you. Because you're, again, with the Four of Swords in reverse, like your soul is drained from this connection and from this kind of treatment that you're receiving. Sagittarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Sagittarius' side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. I knew that was going to come up again because I mentioned at the beginning this Five of Swords energy, this kind of victim mentality energy. Now, again, I'm not saying you're not a victim, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to feel the way that you do, okay? So please don't take it that way, because that's not at all what I'm saying. But again, you know, one of the things my therapist has told me, which has, you know, helped me a ton in my relationships, is that we cannot take other people's lack of healing, empathy, and ability to show up for us personally. Because their journey and where they're at, you know, people can only meet you where they're at today. And this person has very much shown you where they're at. And there's a part of you that has taken it very personally, that they are unable to give you what it is that you're looking for. Now, on the flip side, I do not want you to think that that is me saying that you do not deserve what it is that you're looking for. What I'm saying is that you might be looking from someone who is not in a place in their life to give it. It doesn't mean they never can. It just means that you shouldn't have to feel like you have to wait until they're able to love you to be loved. Sagittarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Sagittarius' side of this connection. And there it is. See, you are waiting. There's a part of you that is waiting, and you're very frustrated that things aren't changing. That's that hope disappointment cycle. something, whether something they say or something that you see a reading, right? A tarot reading that gives you hope. Oh, they're changing, they're healing, they're seeing my value. It gives you hope. You hold on to that hope, and then something happens that makes you realize that nothing is really changing. And then it sends you into this like disappointment spiral, this frustration. But then something happens. They say something or you see something that gives you hope. They're changing this time. It's going to be different this time. But then something happens that makes you realize that's not the case, and you're back in that disappointment. And that cycle is vicious, especially when you're dealing with somebody who is telling you things to keep you stuck in that cycle. So keep, this is increasing the level of awareness, both of self and of others' treatment toward you, while understanding that this person's inability to provide you with what it is that you need in love doesn't have anything to do with your ability to be loved. This person's energy toward Sagittarius, underlying motives with the Emperor in reverse, please. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. One more. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. Let's see. What does this person have going on? Okay. First and foremost, this person's not in touch with themselves at all. Whether that's emotionally, well, definitely not emotionally, but I feel like with the High Priestess in reverse, they don't know like how to listen to themselves, how to listen to their intuition, how to listen to their higher self. They're very out of tune, like asleep. Like that's the best way I can say that. Like this person isn't awake. They're not aware. They're not self-aware. And then you have this Five of Wands, which to me is this energy of inner chaos. And then the Devil. This person's battling a lot of demons. It could, the devil could be something literal, as in like it's manifested as an addiction or mental health, or it could be anything. But to me, I see this as kind of like this person is battling a lot of internal demons. Now, again, I feel like I say that and you know that. Especially if you have been with this person for a while, or if you've gotten to know them on a pretty deep level, you're probably pretty aware of that. But one of the things that we have to remember is that other people's battles are not ours. And if we take on their battles as our own, because this is what you're taking personally, which you're a human being and real human experiences, and I'm not blaming you for taking anything personally, but I want this reading to serve as insight into the fact that this person's inability to be what it is that you need and deserve has more to do with them than it has to do with your value and your worth. And that can be really easy to say, but not so easy to remember when you're experiencing, the reality of the situation. But I do feel like this person is, it's like they're at war with themselves in some way. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. One more. This person's energy toward Sagittarius, please. I feel like this person feels pretty out of control in their life. Like, I don't know if they're dealing with lack of stability financially or what the case is. Which is why I feel like they come off as controlling or manipulative or whatever the case is in their relationships, because if someone struggles to feel secure with themselves, they're going to do whatever they can outside of themselves to control their environment, the people around them, to provide themselves with that like false sense of security. And I feel like that's where a lot of this person's energy goes to, is what can I do to create a false sense of security? And a lot of the times when you're dealing with people who are struggling with that, they look for it in other people. So they don't want to invest. They don't want you to get too close, but they also don't want to lose you, because you do add to that level of security. Now, I don't want that to seem like what I'm saying is that this person is like totally doesn't care for you and is like super taking advantage of you and so on and so forth, because that's not what I'm saying. I am saying that like I don't, one of the things I talk about a lot on my channel, and if you've been with me for a while, you definitely heard me say this and you probably have it memorized by now. 95% of our movements, choices, and our decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. Our subconscious is created based on, patterns, like behavioral and belief systems that are created based on our perception of our reality. And if we are not aware of these patterns, those patterns will control us. So this person might have this pattern of controlling their environment because they don't have control of themselves. And that pattern, it happens subconsciously. This person isn't consciously saying, I'm going to do whatever I can to control Sagittarius. Like, that's not, I don't necessarily feel as if there is like an intentional conscious level of like trying to control. But with the underlying motives card, I feel like this person is pretty willing to say whatever they need to say to keep you hanging on, or to do whatever they need to do in the moment without the intention of actually changing behavior. And that, when you're dealing with something like that, you've got to be very, very careful in your approach. Especially if this person knows you pretty well and knows what it is that you want to hear and that you want from them. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, man. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. Emperor in reverse. And there's the King of Wands again. Lovers in reverse. Okay. Anybody who feels the need to control connections or control their environment is coming from a place of not believing they are good enough or deserving. And that's absolutely what this person is dealing with. They have these feelings of being unlovable or not good enough or whatever the case is. Now, they may be too prideful to admit it, or maybe they are admitting it to you. It depends on what kind of person you're dealing with and how it presents itself. But these feelings of being unlovable is going to make them do what they can to keep people at a distance, because there's this level of like, if people get too close, they'll see who I really am, and so on and so forth. This is interesting here. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse with the Fool. Because I feel as if this person actually, before I say anything, I want to clarify this Knight of Pentacles in reverse with the Fool here. Clarifying this message. I don't know if they're like trying to rebuild their life, or they're trying to get to a place of stability. Like they're in a place in their lives where they're trying to improve, but not necessarily improvement of self, more improvement of external environment, like maybe focused on making more money or focused on becoming more attractive or whatever the case is. Because with the Queen of Swords in reverse, they're still dealing with like a closed mind, closed heart. They're not open, they're not vulnerable. So they're trying to make changes, but I don't feel like they're the right changes. When we feel unlovable and undeserving, we're going to try to do what we can to change those feelings. But most people attack it from the wrong direction. Most people try to change their appearance or change their financial status or change something about themselves externally, thinking that that's going to make them like themselves more. That's going to make them feel unlovable or feel more lovable, feel more worthy and deserving. But at the core, the problem isn't about anything external with this person. It's about the fact that they don't know themselves and they don't love themselves. And that within itself is going to keep them from being able to give you what it is that you need. I don't know. It's interesting. This person's energy toward Sagittarius. This person's energy toward Sagittarius, please. Five of Cups with the Three of Wands in reverse. Page of Cups in reverse and the Three of Cups. They hold a lot of guilt. Maybe not even just for the way they have handled this connection, but like I feel like they hold a lot of guilt for a lot of other things. And this guilt is what makes them emotionally unavailable and ultimately what makes them not like themselves. They're holding on to. That's the one thing we have a little bit mistaken about people who are who come off maybe as a little bit controlling. I'm not here to diagnose anyone, but people who have kind of some more narcissistic qualities is, a lot of people think that it is an over exaggerated sense of self, which yes, that is how it can present itself, but at its core, it's self-hatred, and it's or not even knowing self. And it comes from, lack of self-love. So that's why narcissists need that constant, admiration and outside kind of validation, is because at the core, they don't like who they are. So this person holds a lot of guilt, I feel like specifically for how they handled this or are handling this, but yet at the same time aren't changing behavior. It's interesting. In fact, I actually feel like they're probably doing whatever they can to not face that guilt. But they do feel guilty on some level. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. Yeah, okay. They've been running for a long time from themselves, ultimately, but from anything good for them too. I feel kind of sorry for this person. I have a lot of empathy for them. It's a tough life to live, but they're also not at a place where they're doing anything about it. Because if they're running from themselves, that's where the changes are. It's like they're making these changes, but not actually facing anything. And again, I know I kind of said this, but the biggest mistake that we can make is thinking that changing our environment is going to change us within. It's as above, so below, as within, so without. It's not the other way around. And so this person isn't making any changes within. They're still very much at war with themselves. They still very much hold a lot of guilt. They still very much don't like themselves. And that's reflected on you as, well, they don't like me. They don't value me. They don't see my worth. Well, yeah, of course they don't, because you can only love other people to the extent that you love yourself. And so this person is literally unable, like, not unwilling. Sure, they're unwilling to do the work on themselves, but that has nothing to do with you. They're running from you because they're unwilling to work on themselves for them. So if they're unwilling to work on themselves for them, people are inherently selfish. If they're not going to do it for themselves, they're probably not going to do it for you. And so that is why the bigger picture here is recognizing that this person running from you, it doesn't reflect your value or your worth, and their inability, not necessarily, try not to look at it as unwillingness, but their inability to love you in the way that you deserve, that is not your burden to bear. And there is always an opportunity for you to be loved better. And I feel like the biggest thing is in this reading so far is the need to see that. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. I want it to turn all the way around or hit the table. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. So there's the cycle. You keep getting your heart broken. And if it's not a cycle that is repeating necessarily with this person, it's a cycle that has repeated in your environment. I often have comments that people will say, oh, I've only met emotionally unavailable people, or I've only met people who cheat on me, or I've only met people who leave or abandon me, or whatever the case is. That is a pattern. That is a cycle. That is the universe trying to give you insight into something that needs to be healed. It is not something you have to be stuck in forever. What you have experienced is not a guarantee of what it is that you are capable of experiencing in this lifetime. But there is a pattern here, Sagittarius, that needs to be broken. And nobody else can do it but you, because this person, they keep hurting you over and over again. I feel like you keep forgiving them because you keep holding on to what they could be. Maybe you have empathy for them too, and that's a fantastic thing to have, right? Have empathy for other people. Understand why they are the way they are. Feel sorry for them. But don't allow your love for this person to blind you from the truth that you are deserving of the same level of love that you are willing to give. And if it's not from this person, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to settle for it somewhere else. All right, Sagittarius, we are going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to clarify karmic with the 9 of Wands in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Sagittarius, I wish you absolutely nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Sagittarius.